Hello, I'm nursing student Jason. I'm going to be assessing and cleaning and redressing your wound. So we're going to do some wound care. But the first thing I need to do though is find out who you are and if you are the person you think you are. All right, can I get your name and date of birth? Luke Skywalker. Wow, really cool. Glad to have you. and, all right, you are the person I think you are, and I'm going to go ahead and get washed up, and then we'll come back and get things situated. But so I want to this time explain to you the process that we're gonna go through, which is I'm going to be well, first I need to know, what is your pain scale at? Oh, a 0. So 0 out of 10, 0 being the no pain. Okay, good to know. All right, and do you have to go to the bathroom? Okay. Well, if you do have to go to the bathroom, then let me know now, because we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that when we're in the middle of stuff. So you don't. All right, good deal. And I brought all the supplies that I need with me. So I'll just and they are all not expired. So you're good to go. And just figured I'd throw that in there. And I'm gonna get cleaned up, and then I'll come back and we'll get things going. Okay? Be right back. All right. Go ahead and get some warm water. I'll wash for a little more soap. I'm gonna wash for 20 solid seconds. Nice and dry. Dry it one more time here. All right. So now, before I really get started, I'm going to have to get geared up. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my gown. Got a clean gown that I brought with me. Or sterile. Well, I guess this would be. Actually putting this on inside out, but no worries, I'm still nice and clean. I got a new one. Normally people don't wear them before you to make them inside out. Careful not to tear this any more than it is. Okay, so I've got my gown on, and I'm gonna go with my mask. Taking care not to touch the, anyway, not touch the mask itself, but I will have to adjust my nose. I'll put on my goggles, my notional goggles, and then I'll go ahead and put on some clean gloves. Oh, before I do that, put on some hand sanitizer. And I think we're dry. I'm going to try to, this gown is a little short for me, so I would try to get it over the cuffs. And then again, try to get it over the cuffs. All right, so now I'm going to raise you up a little bit, and you don't have to go to the bathroom. Just making sure, and you're feeling no pain. Nice. All right, bring it up. That was crazy that time you found out that Darth was your dad. Wow. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and before I reveal you, I'm going to make sure that you've got privacy, and I'm going to go ahead and just reveal the parts that I need to, and I'll go ahead and put a Chuck's pad underneath you, underneath your legs. And so I'm going to lift this gently. Okay, and now I can go ahead and reveal your wound. So I'm going to take the tape away, parallel with the skin, so that I don't just pull it straight up or anything. This is getting, all right, and then I'm going to lift your leg just a bit. I might even raise you up just a little bit more so I'm not bending over at all. Okay, that's even better. All right, so go ahead and taking note of if there's any discoloration that I see. Everything looks good. All right. At this time, what I can do is I'm going to need my a bag to place these things in. So I'm going to open this up, pulling the tab away from me so that everything stays and it's not expired. Pulling it away from me, and now I'm going to at this time take just grabbing the edge of this and letting it fall away. Grabbing only the outside edge, or touching anything in front or inside the outside. That 1 inch perimeter is bad. So at this time, what I can do is I can actually, the things that I'm going to want inside my sterile field, I can place there. So if the outside of this isn't sterile, but the inside is, so I'm going to go ahead and peel this away, and then place this inside my sterile field. So for training purposes, it has already been opened. Just let that fall inside, and then I can discard that, and then grab another one, peel this away from myself. Grab one tab, grab the other, and then it would reveal the sterile stuff inside. Then I can go ahead and peel that and let that fall into place as well. All right, and then I can discard that. Okay, and now I can also grab my biohazard bag. So this, I'll go ahead and open up and put a nice cup in it, and I can place this in a place that isn't going to be in the way, and I won't have to reach over my sterile field or the wound to discard things. So now I'm going to take this and discard it, and I'm going to inspect the wound. In order to do so, I'm going to have to take the bandage away. If anything causes you pain, let me know. So I'm taking this away carefully and trying to see if there's anything. Just okay. So I see that there's I would inspect this for any purulent or discharge or anything that is that looks bad, any signs of infection. Fold it with the nastiness on the inside. Go ahead and put that inside the bag. And then I would do the same thing again, one layer at a time. Go ahead and inspect these. And I would take note of anything, just like the last one, and I'm just going to put that right in the bag. And then the last one, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. And I'll try to bring this away carefully so as not to disturb the wound. And I would just look at take note of the anything that's on it, and then place it in the biohazard bag. All right, now I'm going to have to keep revealing what I have here. So I'm going to do the same thing, one layer at a time, taking note of anything that I see, and placing it in the biohazard bag. And then I'm going to go ahead and take note of anything that I see, putting it in the biohazard bag. And so now that I revealed it, I am going to have to clean it up, and I'm going to let's see, and I'll also be getting the the swab. But I want to, before I touch it again, I want to get some clean gloves on. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off, and while keeping sterility, I can put these inside the biohazard bag. Now I'm going to, while not facing my back to my sterile field, make sure my hands are nice and sterilized, and I can go ahead and put on a new pair of gloves. And I'll bring these over here, grabbing the outer edge. This, in a way, is extending my sterile field. If it stays open. All right. Now what I can do, I'm left-hand dominant, I'm left-handed, so I'll put on my left hand first. And try to get that over my cuff, which might just be doable. All right, and then I'll go ahead and I have this one on the inside of the cup. And all right. Nice. Okay, so now I have another set of sterile gloves, or my first set of sterile gloves on. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this sterile stuff into the field, and I'll be needing the water, and I'll be needing the sterile gauze and all this in order to do it. All right, we're going to pretend it's a nicely stacked set of sterile gauze, and I'll go ahead and remove the lid so make sure that the label is toward my palm. I'll go ahead and take the thing off, and I could discard that right here, and then I'll pour a little bit of water in there, sterile water. The reason why you pour with the label toward your palm is that any water that drips down doesn't end up harming the label, so you know exactly what it was. And so now I'm going to take some gauze. I'm going to, like so, and I'm going to clean this up one quadrant at a time so I know in my mind that I've cleaned everything. So I'm going to start at the lower left quadrant, starting with the cleaning from the dirtiest, or the cleanest area to the dirtiest area. So make sure that it's not dripping wet, but you need to all right. And each swipe that you take, you want to get a new gauze, and clean this up, and we'll make sure everything is all clean, using up as much gauze as you need to make sure that it's clean. All right, and then what we need to do is we're going to, now that it's clean, I'm also going to want to get a, whatchamacallit, I'm going to want to get the swab and everything, but I don't think, now that I've touched it, I want to go ahead. I don't think I want to touch the stuff that's on there, so I'm going to get a new pair of gloves on, and then I'll get the swab ready. So, so anyway, so I'm going to put that in there. And I'm going to get a second set of gloves. Let's put these right over here. And all right. Put on my left hand first. And make sure that's as far up over my gown as possible. I have kind of a short gown for me. Put my hand in the cuff, get my gloves. Oh man. That is going to be a challenge. Sorry about the delay. Okay, we're going to proceed. There we go. All right, making sure that they are up over my gown as nicely as possible. So now I have sterile gloves on. I can go ahead and grab things on the sterile field. So I'm going to, I want to take my sterile swab. I'll prepare this. And so now what I'm going to do, this one I can discard, which I won't actually because of training purposes. But so now I'm going to swab this in the anaerobic and aerobic areas so I get bacterial specimens, or get specimens throughout. Now I will go ahead and place this in the swab container, and at the end, because my pen isn't sterile, in the end I will put the name, date, and all this information on there, and I'll verify that the patient's information is correct. So right now I'm going to place this right here, and I'm going to also I'm going to take this. I'm going to inspect for any kind of tunneling or sensitivity. I'm sure this doesn't feel great, but I want to make sure that there's no tunneling due to a spreading of infection or necrosis or whatever it might be. And I can also, so I don't see that there's any tunneling, and at this time I can also see the depth of my of the wound, which I'm going to say it's about that deep, and I'll bring this over, and I'll be able to say it is about 1.5 centimeters deep. I'm going to go ahead and discard that, and I can also go ahead and measure this, and I'm going to say that the wound is approximately 9 centimeters long and 6.5 centimeters wide. And so now I'm just going to put that right in there. In the event that it happened, if it did touch the wound, there'll be another one in the next kit. So 9 by 6.5. All right. And I'm going to palpate the wound and to see if it's warm, or see if there's any sign of tunneling. It feels like a rubber leg, so it feels like there is a lot of tunneling possibly, even though I couldn't feel it with my thing. But yeah, there's a lot of empty space underneath the wound on the medial side of the left leg there. So now now that it's been cleaned, we've done everything we need to do, taken measurements and taking note of everything we need to. I can take off my gloves, and I can actually no. I'm gonna want another set of sterile gloves so that I can start dressing it. So I think somewhere in the process I may have put on one too many gloves, but so I'll take this off and put on my next set of gloves. Go like so. All right, and I'm going to pretend that, because I would normally call for, if I need another set of gloves, if I don't have them, I'd have to call somebody and ask for another set of sterile gloves, and they would bring them in, and I'd be like, all right, well, thank you. And now that I took these off, I can sterilize my hands, and they would bring me my next set of sterile gloves, and I'm going to pretend that these gloves are my next set of sterile gloves. Right here. Thank you, assistant, for bringing in my set of sterile gloves. I'll put this, the cuffs would normally be folded up. I would grab the first one to go on my left hand, just like so. Trying to get my cuff up over my sleeve, and then grab my next one with the cuff folded up. I grab it under the cuff, and like so, and get this one on my hand as well, and try to get that up over my cuffs. So now I want to repack the wound with my sterile gloves. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to get this moist, not dripping. And when I put it on the wound, I want to make sure that I don't put it on the skin. So I'm going to put this right in here to get another piece of gauze. Go ahead and get that so it's not dripping. And I'll go ahead and put this, pack the wound, just like so. Okay. So now, all right, so I'm going to consider the wound packed, and I'm going to go ahead and place gauze over top. So I've got this gauze, which I can put right there, and I have actually run out of gauze. So, but I wouldn't have run out of gauze in real life. But I'm going to pretend that I am not rummaging through here. I'm going to grab this one, and so I'll place that right there. And now I'm going to take my abdominal ABD bandage, and place that on there, blue side up. And I can go ahead, now that this is covered, in theory, it's not a sterile process any longer, but I still want to definitely take care and be careful. So I'm going to place the gauze over it, and lifting, being gentle, I'm going to lift the leg up so that I can all right, get that. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'll pull this down for a second. I'm going to put a little piece of tape on there to tape things in place. If I can feel it without, I may have to take my gloves off in order to find the edge. But this isn't a sterile process anymore, now that it's covered up. But so going to go ahead and tape this in place. I'm just going to lift your leg a little bit. All right. I may have even wanted to take more gauze and cover the entire ABD bandage, but I'm lacking in supplies. Normally I probably would have asked some personnel to bring me another sterile gauze so I could further wrap that. And let's see. So now I'm, and I'm gonna label this. Now that this is no longer a sterile procedure, I can whip out my pen and I can label this with my initials, time, and date, and put that on there. And I can go ahead and take my non-sterile pen and fill all this information out and make sure that it's correct. Is that you? Yeah, Luke. All right. Well, thank you. And now I'm going to lift your leg. I'm going to clean up. I'm going to get this stuff out of your way, and then I'm going to doff my gear. So I'll get this out of your way, and then I would also clean all this up and get it out of the patient's room and out of the patient's way. And at this time, I can also take away the curtain now that they're all covered back up. So the way that I would doff is, the first thing I would do is want to take off my gloves. And then I can put this in the biohazard bag. I want to take off my gown. And when I roll it, when I undo it, I want to get it to, I only want to touch the inside of it. And if it's at all possible. All right. Throw it this way. Now, just because I don't want to, I may have contaminated myself with the gown, so, and before I put my hands up on my face, make sure that I'm nice and clean and sterile. And then I'm going to go ahead and take off my goggles, and I'll put these over, I can throw them away actually, and then I'll take these off, and I can put these in here and get this all out of here and say, all right, well, I'm going to put you back into place. So are you comfortable? I get you in a comfortable position. Do you need to go to the bathroom now? I'm going to put you back down, and I'll make sure you have your call light. And is there anything else? Do you have any questions? I'm sure you're going to be seeing me again when I have to do this later. All right, well then, well, thank you, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.